Ahudu billahi minash shayatina rajim. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. When you say H-A, great question. Let me clarify how H works. Okay, we're not going to go through all of that. La ilaha illallah. Okay. So to move the parabola along the x-axis, they saying that y equals x plus or minus h, depending whether you want to go to the left or the right, squared. So this x plus or minus h is equal to a new x value, is what I'm assuming. And then if you want to go up or down, that's another variable to make it go up or go down. And then if you take this, if you're trying to move it right or left, and then change the position from up to down. So that's just how you do all of that. Let me say it one more time so I don't want you to think I got lost. Y equals x squared, and then to get this to go left or right on the number line, you go y equals, you go inside the parentheses and you mess with it from within the quadratic power. Always understand now. It's a separation into parts. I remember God blessed me a long time ago when we talk about 1997, and I was with my homeboy and we was building real heavy. Or I was really into what God was saying to me. And he showed me at a very early age that like they was using all types of finances and microscopes and instrumentation, and they had only just recently proved that basically everything is made up of something else. Made up of something else. I think they were looking into the universe with a telescope, and they was talking about the universe. But God had already shown. We had did the math. We had did the mathematics on it. We had did the numbers on it. That's intuitive. That something is made of something else. So it's always again. Look now. If you got herpes, that's just particles. Well, no, it's not just particles. It's not molecules. That's atoms. It's just atoms of a specific type or order. And so it's just getting the atoms to disperse. So you take a particle, somehow you get it ionized, you get all that to blow up, and you don't just have it no more. Again, the only thing you have to be cautious of is that how much is your body depending on, like how much energy is going towards keeping you alive with herpes, where you don't have it no longer. So then all of a sudden you're going to have a whole lot of energy. So how is that going to affect the other parts of your physiological system? So that's the whole thing with that. That's just a mumble. But at some point in time when we get organized, because we're getting organized, we might want to get into this, a certain department of what we got going on. Okay, but always understand it's always a separation into parts. You breaking it down. And when you break it all the way down, you come out with this energy. And these are the units for energy. They call this joules. There's all kinds of ways you can write energy. But the units is mass, distance, time, mass, distance, time, meters, kilograms, grams, kilograms, meters, kilometers, seconds, kiloseconds, grams, meters, seconds. But it's meters squared, seconds squared. This is energy, heat, electricity, volts, ions, protons, that life, what they call currency, that equals what? Finances, money. You don't get none of that without first believing in God and seeking God's kingdom. So a separation in the parts, I say that because look, when I say x squared, and another thing, when I say x squared, I'm looking more at separating this x. x1 plus x2 plus x3 squared. Because x1 plus x2 plus x3 equals x. But here we'd be better to say x to the n. So x1 plus x2, no. Where n equals 1, 2, 3. Again, that's multiple variables. You got to really understand. That's why just writing A, just like the number scale. I don't even know what I'm gonna call this multiple variable scale. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, multiple variables. That can get to be real complicated. But this is what it is. So you have y equals x squared. Y equals x squared. So say x equals 4. Well, 4 is 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1, 5 minus 1, 6 minus 2, and then look, it's squared. So all of this is squared. Okay, but they were saying it like, well, so it's just some kind. It's lack of experience. I just don't know. I don't have enough experience, and just how to manipulate the equality sign. But that's still the same thing. X plus or minus h squared. That's just what I did right here. So right here, h is 2. Right here, h is 1, -1. But they make this is confusing. Because they make it seem like, okay, if this is not an x, see, they didn't tell us that this was an x value. They just said this was another variable. So if we say x plus 1 squared and we equal that to y, if we don't say our x value, say we say x equals 0, and we draw the graph, x is still equal to 0. That's going to change the y value though. Because if we say x equals 0, that's 1 squared. That's not a good situation because 1 is universal. Say we say 3. If x equals 0, that means that's going to be 3 squared, which means y equals 9. But the parabola is still going to be no. The parabola, the x value of the parabola is still going to be 0. But it's going to move up. That y value is going to move up. But that's just like saying x squared plus 3. That's kind of good though, right? How you can just freak the numbers like that. I wonder how is that working though, right? Okay, say we say x equals 0. X equals 0 for this equation right here with the square means y equals 3. No, it increases. Okay. I don't think that, I don't know. There's something wrong with that. Okay, I don't know. I might ask my professor that. I don't even have a professor. Well, I do have, I don't know, I got to find a professor I can mess with. Like, the computer ain't really good. Like, the computer's good now, don't get me wrong. But in the end, it's just, what they call it, bits and data. So that's all you're going to get as far as, like, the conversation. I had to find it in the textbook is what I had to do. Let me see if I got it somewhere. I know it's in that book is complicated. Let's look at this book. Let me see some brothers and sisters. Let's take an intermission right quick. Let me see if I can give it to you.
You're my baby, my lover, my lady, all mine.
Let me say that over.
You're my baby, my lover, my lady, all night. You make me want you, it drives me crazy. I feel like you were made just for me, babe. Tell me if you feel the same way, 'cause it just feels so right. I don't wanna waste no time. If I had to choose, I know I'm gonna always choose to be with you. 'Cause girl, don't you know? Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life. I wanna be always here by your side. Girl, don't you know you're so beautiful? I wanna give all my love to you, girl. Not just tonight, but the rest of your life.
Okay. Now, we done ran across some difficulties. It's a little bit more complex. And I want to say this. I'm not a parabola expert. I'm not going to say generically, but I don't have no doctorate study on parabolas. I don't even have a master's studies. I have a Calc 4 real analysis, the actual class. That's probably Calc 6 and Calc 7 study. But that's dealing with polynomials on a certain level. And we do have our brother, what's my brother name? Brother Bachara Reed. From, we thank you, Almighty Allah, for that brother. He passed on too at a young age. He was doing that math up in Wayne State in Detroit, in that area. And he passed on. But he got some real good books. And we're going to get back into that history when we get a chance. But it didn't got complicated. Well, I got to look at it. And I'm not wanting to just leave a situation. But because of the time, we're going to keep it moving. Let me see where we are. Let me see where we are, brothers and sisters. Okay. So they were saying that you move it when you talk about a polynomial, a quadratic polynomial. Right here we were saying, like, if we say y equals ax squared, these are the same. We just saying that b equals 0 times c and c equals 0. If b equals 0 and c equals 0, that reduces this to this right here. And so, okay, yeah, that is how you do it. excuse me, brothers and sisters, for my ignorance. I just see it now. So the problem is y equals x squared. So when x is 0, y is 0. Okay. But when you talk about this form right here, when x is 0, x is 0, this is 0, this is 0. Oh, no, I did have it right, but I wasn't looking at the bigger picture. Okay, no. So you can write it like this, excuse me. X squared plus c. If we write it like this, that means that bx, you got to know this form. This is a polynomial. This is real good too, but this is a whole separate topic. Because we talk about polynomials. Polynomials are actually what it is on a certain level. Because you come to find out you can write any equation, any number can be represented by another number. That's it. These are all multiple variables. No matter what you're looking at. Again, we talking about finance now. High levels of mathematics. But no matter what you're looking at, it can be rewritten another way. But you always got to understand now, these people are dealing with a system that's making them trillions of dollars. So they have a system. So you're just learning that, but then it all go back to Kemet. And then Kemet go back to God. We just talking about 6,000 years. And we have yet to really tap into the 66 trillion year history. So that's something with God, because that's a whole separate level. But with polynomials, this is the form of a polynomial. Don't worry about it, just so you know it. Like if you're really getting it, like if you really listening, which you should be. This is where I talk about like multiple variables. Like this is a polynomial. Like that's what it actually is. It's not that complicated, but it can look complicated because there's just a lot of variables. So if I initially I told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is more like arithmetic. It's not, because within the distance of these two numbers, 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, that's infinity. So that's high level of thinking. But just outright, now we're very rudimentary. This is caveman, cavewoman type mathematics. Again, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the devil only got one book. This 6,000 years, they only been going on one book. So this is not rudimentary, but when you start getting into what they actually talking about, it's ain't nothing. This is stone. We walking up on mountains and we carving mountains with little tools we done made. So if you, let me write the polynomial again. A sub 0 plus A1 x1 plus A2 x2 plus A3 x3 plus dot dot dot. Whenever you do the dot dot dot, etc., showing you infinity to a certain point, do 3 dots. I got that from my professor, and I kind of like his discipline on a certain level. But that's plus. Remember the plus sign. Well, we're gonna carry it over. Plus an xn. This is where it get confusing. Plus an plus 1 xn plus 1. That means it goes on to infinity. This means it's finite or it converges to n. But then if you say an plus 1, that means it's infinity. So to go from this, if you're learning this, the number scale, then you go to this, that's caveman, cavewoman. Very, well, it is arithmetic. Like, the whole thing, brothers and sisters, is that you can calculate anything just with arithmetic. It's complicated. Well, it's not complicated. It's tedious. You got pages of just doing add and subtract. That's all the computer does, but it does it at a certain speed because of the electricity. How they freaking that thing is beautiful. But so That's when God said, well, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Now you see how God has blessed us, because look at what they're giving us now. If you go from the number scale to this right here and start writing both of them, but write this right here, multiple variables, and then go to this right here, this is nothing. This is 1 plus 1. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, but so let's get back focused. If you have ax squared plus bx plus c, this is the a, this is the equation, this is the AO value, this is the A1x1, this is 1 right here. Is this called B? We could have, let me do it with A. A1, this is A0. This is A1, which was BX, but now it's A1, X1, it's a 1 here. This is A2, we call that A, but it's A2, X2, that's just a polynomial. If you put A1 equal to 0, A1 equal to 0, if you put A1 equal to 0, then it don't matter what X is. But we say X is 0. But it's going to be 0, because 0 times anything is 0. So you have A0 plus A1x1 plus A2x2. Computer said AX squared plus BX plus C. That's the same equation. It's just variables. They just changing variables. And you'll come to find out that this is how they flunk you. They make you think you stupid. But you're not stupid. They just ain't taught it. They ain't taught it to you. So God say it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Variable scale. So, this right here, A, is A2, X2. From this variable right here, you can write it forward or backwards. This BX is A1, X1. It's a 1 here. And this C is A0. So we were saying that X equals, Y equals X squared plus A. In this form right here, A2 is equal to 1. 1 times X squared is just X squared. The A1 is equal to 0. Because, okay, so you got coefficients, and then you got the variables. Okay, I'm confused myself with dependent, independent. But the function depends on X. I'm going to say it like that. But you could also say, well, X is independent of the function. So, and I can't remember in my history of math how they say it. Okay, but in A, it's just the AO part, the A sub O. So if there is no X term, you don't see no X term in this quadratic formula. And if X is equal to 0, but you got to understand it's A1, X1. Okay, but what about when X is 1? This equation still doesn't, because it should be, if X is 1 and not 0, this should be Y equals X squared plus A1 X1 plus A. Remember, A2 is 1, but you could put A2 there. That's if X is 1. Now understand now, when we talk about multiple variables, we're not talking about specific numbers. When you get into analysis, the equality has to be true for every number x, not just for, okay, so like 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So we say 1 plus x is equal to 2. Well, that x has to be equal to 1, right? So we're not talking about every number x on the number line. We just talking about a specific number x, which is equal to 1. But how they confuse you is they say, well, x is equal to a. They say a equal to 1. And they never tell you that x is also equal to a. That's how they confuse you. You just got to learn it. So we're not trying to find, okay, again, 1 plus x equals 2. Is this true for the natural number set? No, it's not true for the natural number set, but it's true for a in the natural number set. And that a is equal to 1. So that's all that is. And that's very powerful. That's very powerful, brothers and sisters. But getting back to the initial conquest, y equals x squared plus a. So my confusion is that when x equals 0, say a equals 2, no, say a equals 9. When x equals 0, y equals 9. So I was, the vertices is not at this point. This is where I'm making a mistake. No, this is not what the vertices is. The vertices is right here at 9. No, that's not the vertices, but that's a point on the parabola. Okay. Damn, you see what I'm saying? What a mistake I do. You talking about that crowd strike. When crowd strike drop. Oh, I just seen this good movie too. You might want to check it out. It's called Money Monsters. I put it on my LinkedIn page for Dr. Tutor. So you might want to take a look at that. Yeah, well, we had to climb out that hole on that one, right? So I was getting that wrong. This is not the vertices. This is when x equals 0, y equals 0. But this is not what this is. This go back to the trichotomy principle or relationships. Remember this now. We're going to tie all this in, the trichotomy principle. When you got two variables, A and B, which is what we have. Remember now, it's area. A and B, building on pyramids, volume. They don't even give us that history, but it's there. It's on that ruler. When you talk about atoms, that's A, B, C. A times B times C is going to give you the volume. Meters cubed. Okay. So the trichotomy principle, when you got two variables, it's either A less than B, A equals B, or A greater than B. So you talking about 0.00 is how I should have wrote it, why I didn't see it being fast. But right here, for this equation right there, y equals 9. So it's x is equal to 0, y equal to 9. That's not the vertices. Well, what would make it the vertices? When y equals 0. So what number times 0? What is A? What did I say A was? I say A was 9. X squared plus 9. Okay, so that go back to what we initially started on, right? This is how they got to it, too. That's beautiful. Thank you, Almighty. We're not in no mental position right now. We're so tired, brothers and sisters. But this is how we come out. Again, we were talking about complex numbers. So you got to so we got to find out what x is. Because look now, we have a quadratic. And we want to find out what is the vertices of this quadratic, because we're looking for the origin. Remember the quadratic look like this? We're looking for this point right here. Because from this point, we're going to either go up either way. So this is good for the stock market. Actually, this is very good because, yeah, this is actually very good because if we could calculate this vertex, then we would know when it's going to go back up. You can go either or too now, because remember now, when you're at a peak, that's just the negative x squared. So when x is 0, Y is 9. That's a point here. That's not the vertex, and it's not going down because it's not negative. We don't have a negative x squared, parentheses, negative, parentheses, x squared. So we want to, so we got this formula, x squared, this is the formula for our system, equals y. So you subtract the y on both sides. Y is equal to 0. You got negative 9. Negative 9 is equal to x squared. So now you take the square root. Where there is no two numbers that's going to give you negative 9, like negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, and then 3 times 3 is 9. And negative 3 times 3, even though it's negative 9, negative 3 times 3, even though it's equal to negative 9, it's not equal to the square root of negative 9. So they came out with something that said that I is equal to the negative square root of 1. Always understand when you got negative 9 under the square root, that's just negative 1 times 9. Or it could be negative 9 times 1. The square root of 1 is 1. There is no square root of negative 9, so this would be an undefined system. So what they said was that it's 9 times negative 1. That's real heavy. That's a whole lot of... See, again, this is doctoral work, or this is... if we remove ourselves, again, we're building our corporation. That's what we're doing. So we remove ourselves from all of that well, it's not necessarily madness, but it can be, again, it's not the system. It's the people in the system. So what they said was, in this situation, right, because again, even with negative 1, there is no two numbers. Because we just talking about the square root. This is a 2 right here. Or the square root without no numbers is what it represents, a 2 right there. So they say I is equal to negative 1, and they call that an imaginary number, and then they do it like this, equals x plus or minus. So then that'll be x equals to plus or minus 3i. That's real powerful, how we came back to that. So actually, we didn't fall in no well, necessarily. It was Jesus and his disciples on the ship, on the boat. And Jesus just said, peace be still. Is just something we had to go through and never give up, which we did. And when I mean we, I mean all of us that are listening, we never gave up. We kept going until we got to this point. Okay, so that's a whole separate can of whoop ass. Because now we done came out with an imaginary number. And so now I understand that. And let's see if we can. So what did we say? We said x squared plus 9 equals y. Let's do x squared minus 9. We're going to make it easy. Equals y. So that means that if y is equal to 0, that means 0 equals x squared minus 9. And we already got the point 0. Okay, negative 9. For this situation right here. So we got this point right here, negative 9. This is 0. So we got a point 0, negative 9. 0, negative 9. So if we subtracted, add the 9 to both sides, that'll be x squared equals 9. That's plus or minus 3. So you got x. Oh, that's kind of, damn, we in another shithole, right? You got plus 3, minus 3. I'm going to have to put these formulas on MATLAB is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to come back and show you the graphs, brothers and sisters. I hate to do that because, you know, again, I'm still trying to work on my patience. Sabara. You know, God say we created in haste, patience. Okay, what I'm going to do, brothers and sisters, and we're going to try to give another intermission. While I get this organized.
New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win.
When I initially came to the microphone, this is what I wanted to speak on.
To never cry, work till you die. Got to provide. Always be the rock for your fam. Protect them by your means. Yeah. Oh, our relationship is trying to give you. Said I don't really love you, baby. I say I keep my feelings deep in. Straight though thin with mine. I'm trying desperately, baby. Please work with me. Surrender my heart. Yeah. Teach me how to love. Get my own. Teach me. Show me how to love you, babe. Show me the way
To surrender my heart. Teach me how to love. Show me. Teach me.
Taught to be strong, never let them think it. Let no one get close to me before. I done shared things with you, girl, about my past that I never tell to anyone else. I just keep it to myself. Now I know it like a flash.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shayatinir rajim. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Now this is another headbanger. This is actually another good ass book that God then sent to us from heaven. It's called Analytical Dynamics of a Particle. This is from my brother S. Ganguly and S. Saha. Is this NCMB? This is again NCMB. And is it NC? Let me make sure. The NCBA agency. Again, this is my brothers in Bengali. Let me make sure, right? If you look at the address, can you see that? West Bengali, India. New Central Book Agency. You can get this online. The book is so cheap. You're going to pay more for the shipping and handling. Probably like $15. They bring it right to your door from India. That heat. But it's called Analytical Dynamics of a Particle. Actually a very good book. I got a couple books. I got so much work to do. That's why, again, I say, you introduce this to your child. What are you talking about? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and then everything will be added unto you. Powerful book. Okay. Now we're not going to get, this is just a precursor. Again, look, analytical dynamics of a particle. This is what we need. We're just messing with particles, brother. We're going to build the machinery. We're going to capture atoms. We're already doing that on a certain level. We talking about, okay, when you create the assignment, we talking about Python coding, assignment. You got the variable. You got the value. We talking about the value. Well, I don't know if I said that correctly. Like when you talking about, like with the Python seed I cultivate, with God bless me with the Python seed. The Python seed. The Python seed we did that. We didn't actually isolate. Well, we did. I got to just look it all. Actually, we did, but we did it. We sort of did it like a separate way, like trapping, what they call trapping. I think they doing. Well, that's complicated. So I couldn't see it. Like I could see the effect or the results, but I couldn't actually see the ion or the atom moving in space. But then that's ignorant on a certain level. So we're very rudimentary brothers and sisters, because we're fresh into our understanding of God. God is communicating with us. But my whole point is this: they had a good, in the very first chapter, which is called the fundamentals. Again, fundamental definition of principles. Fundamentals. It's my book, brothers. It's our book. Don't be afraid to write in it. If you're not dumb, and I pray Almighty Allah, you're not no fool. Write in the book. Get the book correct for people coming after you. Fundamental definitions and principles. So when I looked at the exercise, you always, well, I can't say that, but I have found that you actually want to do the exercise, like you really want to do them. Like that's really where you want to learn from. Professors not teaching it like that. It's so sad nowadays. But if you look, define each of the following terms: displacement, velocity, acceleration. Now, we getting an A on this test. Each question is a test. That's an A for us. Look now, they even mess with you. But these is dark black people. These is not people. Now, I'm not saying they ain't gonna call you a nigger. Well, we are uneducated in that area. And then they got the caste system, so they say. But these brothers and sisters that's writing these books from India, they are very dark, brother and sister. But look at this, how they mess with you. B-U-B-A, you got a bachelor's. You don't know nothing about no mathematics, just messing with God and Mr. Sharia. But we know what each one of them, like, it's just so beautiful. They talking about displacement. What God say displacement was? Just a change. The pyramid. They took the pyramids, the actual pyramids on the planet, and they took that structure and they used that to mean a change in something. You know what X is. X is just some number on the number line, but they don't ever tell you what that X is because they say X is infinity. They never tell you that X equals A. A is just a number on the number line. So when you see the change in A, which is displacement, this what this triangle means. Displacement, a change. Displacement is a synonym for change in position. So we go to A to A1. Now understand now, X is equal to both of these variables. They ain't told you that. They just said the change in A. But then they say they said the change in X. But then they say X equals A. Then they say X go from A, the particle goes from A to A1. So what is this space? This interval. This is an interval where X equals A, X equals A1. A is the lower bound. X cannot be, for this situation, X is not going to be less than A. For this situation, X is not going to be greater than A1. They call that an interval. Then they say X in the interval A to A1. But they probably wouldn't say it like that. They would say C in the interval X. C in the interval A to A1. But they would say this would be on the X number line. So they would say, given some number line X, where X in the real number set, there's a C in the interval A to A1. That's exactly how they're going to tell it to you, brothers and sisters. That's multiple variables. So if you don't write in that variable scale, look now, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Nothing. I ain't just told you nothing. Look now, number scale. Number scale X. X is in the real number set. Now, they say X equals A. X equals A1. They give you an interval. A to A1. They ain't going to say it like that. They're going to say give an interval A1. Let me write it again. I get confused with that all the time with the comma. A1. Give an interval A1. We're going to call that interval equal to Hamza. Create the assignment, brothers and sisters. This is the value. This is the variable. This is the value. They're going to say there's a C within this interval. And then we're going to freak this C any kind of way. So you got A, you got A1. Within this interval, there's a value C. But the distance between A and A1 is the change in A. You understand that? Oh, that's powerful. They call that displacement. You'll see it all the time. You'll see X plus H. X plus H is equal to the change in, we just seen it, right, with the parabola, the change in X. You got X at some point, then H is just a step, a distance that it travels. Say H right here. No. Say you got X. Say you got H equals 0.5. That's just a certain distance. That's X plus H. This distance right here is 0.5. All kinds of ways. And you can say this is X. This point right here is equal to C. This is X1. So you can say there's a C within the interval, closed interval, because it's equal to X and it's also equal to the upper bound. And this point C, you could just say that's X plus H. That's real good. Okay. So that's displacement. Look now, we've been searching through all these books. We ain't got none of these questions right, but we got that right. So then what's the second thing they tell you now? What we've been stressing the whole time? Velocity. Velocity. This is the first question they give you in the first chapter, fundamental definition principles. Well, we know what velocity is. If X is just some position in space, meters, velocity is meters per second. That's a straight line, 45-degree angle necessarily. Because you can move, well, it's always going to be 45 degrees, I believe, but you can manipulate this angle. When we say angle, we talking about, this is the x-axis. We're going to call this a vector. And this is the angle that the vector, again, the explosion, when it explode, you got some metal here, that metal shoot out a distance, a certain distance angle from the x-axis. So that's meters per second. It's now traveling or moving. That could be displacement also on a certain level, but they saying velocity. It's all equal to each other as far as movements on a certain level. That's just the change in X with respect to time. We just introduced time, and then what's the last one they give you? Huh? Talking about that ROI. What they say, brother? I'm not lying. And look, this is not even their language. They didn't learn, well, on a certain level, God didn't, you understand how, that's how, because in the end, we all wicked. But look at where we're getting our knowledge from. We're not no longer getting our knowledge from John, Mr. Hawkins. Right? We're getting our knowledge, I'm not going to get a brother's name, we're getting our knowledge from India. Is that Bengali? It don't say, no, it say West Bengal. Where's, okay. Yeah, that's going to be towards the Kaaba too, right? Okay. So I wanted to introduce that. That's an AAA. So they say for that question right there, go ahead, get your BA, your BS. I don't know what BU is. That's probably something for what they got. Or they just like theoretical, make you feel good. Right? Maybe kinda. But this book right here, this is another foundational book that's gonna get us where we need to be. Seriously. And then look, we talking about networking. And YouTube, not YouTube, but YouTube is good with Google. But we don't know who control. I think Google run by some Russians. But we talking about them. We talking about black people. So we talking about what was Adobe? Yo, brothers and sisters, look now. Now, stock market is not the thing. Adobe at, what is Adobe at? Adobe at 326. I remember we was talking about it. It was at, what was that, 400? I was saying if it go down to 300, it's going to be something wrong. Something is wrong, but they're going to, this is a sleeper. This really is a sleeper. Because they're going to get, this is what I want to say. This is what I want to say. They talk about Silicon Valley. They talk about Silicon Valley, where it's a city. It's really a city. It's a Microsoft city. They ain't, I'm talking about the actual company, Microsoft. But that's really but what I'm trying to tell you is that Adobe can be a country, or it can be a city. I don't want to say a country. Adobe can be a city. Like you are now entering the city of Adobe, where it's an actual city, but it's a city centered around what this company doing, like everything about the city. That's what they can be. Like when I talk about Adobe, like just because they products, but the only thing, what the people saying as far as the stock market, they AI, right? Now they AI, I initially said that AI was garbage, but I was comparing it because when you, like, they had everything good with the AI, with the PDF specifically. They not, listen what I'm trying to tell you. They not coming out with, it's no one that's coming out with no PDF that's going to be compared to Adobe. Nothing. The next step from the PDF is the holographics, like the Star Treks and Luke Skywalker and Yoda and all of that. That's the next level for PDF, where you're going to actually be seeing it holographic, three-dimensional. That's the next. It's not going to be no artificial intelligence that's going to be better than Adobe. It's going to be Adobe, I'm talking about the PDF, with the artificial intelligence. But when I used it, and look now, I purchased it, but when I used it, it wasn't fluid, is my point. It just wasn't fluid. As compared to, I mess with Coral, it's called Poe, P-O-E, but it's a derivative, it's called Poe.com. I don't think they are as good as like a Chat GPT. Chat GPT is the joke now. Chat GPT, I might get into it. I had the one brother from Minority Mindset. He said Chat GPT, he took a picture of something he was looking at, like a disease. He said he put it on Chat GPT. Chat GPT, from the electron scan, it's just electron scanning the electron, or the light from the electrons. Chat GPT could scan it and then compare it with their data from other similar electron patterns. And that thing is, Poe can't do that. Poe.com, they can't do that, but I stay with them because they from Quora. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. It might be 2 hours. No, it might. It's like let me pronounce. It's a difficult word to pronounce. It's like our aura, but it's Quora. Quora. Let me see something. Quora. Tutor. Yeah. Man, how you pronounce it? How do you pronounce? How do you pronounce Quora? Quora? How do you pronounce Quora? Cora. Okay, they pronounce it Cora. They trying to like Cora. Either they talking about Cora from the Bible or Cora, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad's brother. You go figure which one they talking about. When we talking about the devil. But I stayed with them. I stayed with this because Quora, they were the first ones I seen. If you was a student, college student, and the professors ain't trying to help you. But they got their doctorate. You understand what I'm saying? So the only people I seen that would help you learn was Quora, their website. Like it was just a community of professors. Like the eBay, Etsy type professors, where they just like, fuck it, we gonna come together and do our own thing because of the system. The system is really destroying these children. So because of messing with them, and then po.com came up where I just subscribed to it. Initially, remember now, I wouldn't even mess with it. I wouldn't even, because it was so fluid. Like it was just too good to be true. So we always apprehensive. But that's the best thing in the world. So I didn't never go to ChatGPT. It's just like with anything. I don't really like Amazon and Microsoft, and I don't really get into all of that like that. Even though they're good now. ChatGPT might be the best. But I think you're going to find out on this po.com, you're going to find the next best thing better than ChatGPT, it's going to be on this right here. Because they started from this and they went to this. Now they're going to go from this to something else. That's just my opinion. Okay. So the Adobe AI, this was last year. It wasn't real fluid. And I was having to fight, like I had to fight with it. Right? I didn't have to fight with po.com. Po.com was like real fluid. They was real friendly. That's probably going to be access to data centers. Like them data centers. So you talking about a team of technicians, specialized. If this is a derivative from a whole bunch of just people on the internet that then came together, so this is going to be more fluid until they catch up. So, but now they got with Google. That's a damn good move. Now their price went up to Went up to $360. I didn't sell it because I'm just going to keep it. Then it dropped down. But no, this is a city in the making. We talking about. What we at, 2025? I said the year 3000, brother. Now, that's not incorrect. That's just God. Remember now, our ways are not the ways of God, or God says that because he controls our ways, we won't understand some things we do. So I said 3000. Then we talked about the year 5000. I meant to say the year 2100. Right? I forgot all about the 100 to the 900 within that 2000. So I was talking about the year 2100, right? To keep it realistic, because a lot of us, myself included, is not really at the year 3000. Because we talking about 900 years. That's a long time for a lot of evolution. But that 2100, we can actually put our hands right now where we are. We can still do it. It's easier to do it the year 3000. Like what we're going to build for our children. In the year, we talking about the black nation. Like like from right here, it's really so easy. Well, we're going to say this is what our children are going to be doing year 3000. Right? Compared to the year 2100. But my whole point is like, so I don't know, it's depending on how you look at it. depending on how you look at it. That's that spacecraft. Okay, so Adobe can be a city. If they get correct now, they nothing, there's no one that can compare with them. They came out with Fig. I think they said you could have made some money with Fig. They was trying to buy Fig. They even stopped Adobe from buying this company. But they ain't stopped some, I think it was another company. They was a Caucasian company. Okay, so anyway. So I believe Adobe can make that transition. And then I started talking, right? Okay, so we talking about getting back home. We done been away from home for 400 years. That's not a long time. You got black people in the history of our planet that have been away from home for millions of years. They ain't have chattel slavery. They just was away from home for millions of years. We only been away from home for 400 years, but we done mixed in with the blood of the devil. So that makes us look, if we do go home, we're going to be very weird compared to our brothers and sisters. That's our family. But they very weird because of us straying away from God. That's the only way I seen that too. With Kemet, God destroyed Kemet because they strayed away from the path of God. And that's just how it worked. God, I got that from being the Israelites. God gave his only begotten son, which is Judah or which is Israel, the black people, certain specific black people. We're talking about black America. God gave us to the cross so that those who believe in him shall not perish, shall not. So that's another sign that we're gonna be removed, only a remnant. So now we're talking about other people. I've been listening to IUIC. They gave a couple of powerful lectures. They gave that one from chaos to commander. All them Jones I done seen been excellent. But that brother started hitting you with them verses about what God gonna do to Israel. And then the one brother, he pronounced it more clear that we are cursed. Like you just gotta hear it, like we cursed. Like we're living in the time of our curse. So actually we're being removed from the planet, brothers and sisters. And if you don't repent right now and start making your prayers and following the scripture, then it's gonna be bad. And now you got babies in the world. We are babies, someone's child, with no hedge. Okay, so let's get into it again. I'm gonna close it up. I done ran my mouth. I meant to run my mouth the whole time we've been talking now. I meant to do all that talking with this right here. But again, to seek you first the kingdom of God. So this is very good. Concepts of atomic physics. It's my brother SP Cooler, NCMB. Okay. Let's see what, okay, this is what I wanted to look at. Let me see, I couldn't find it. Now, I'm going to try to find it in this book. But I might got to read this entire book and then create the assignment. I need to learn what that means, though. That's it's an interval, then it's a sub-interval. But that's not what I'm talking about. What is it called? It's sort of like displaced anger. Like we mad at the devil, but then when someone step on our shoes, we take out our anger on our brother or our sister. We really want to kill the devil on a certain level, because God say persecution worse than slaughter. So I don't mean to say it like that. We really want to persecute the devil. But when our brother or our sister who going through the same thing we going through, it's just one got a little bit more discipline than the other, or one got less discipline. A is either equal to B, A is greater than B, or A is less than B. So when there's no equality, and it's a less than, greater than, we might take our anger out on our brother or our sister. We might persecute them. And on some levels, they might deserve it, correct? But really, it's the devil that deserves it. So I'm trying to understand that's what that environment. So it's called it's second hand, or speaking behind a veil, or speaking with a double-edged sword. I don't know what it's. I'm trying to learn what it's called, where I can just group it. So right now I call it this create the assignment. But within creating that assignment, it's more there. So let me see if I can do it again. We're going to talk about something called quantum tunneling. If you go to the index of this book, it's called Quantum Tunneling, page 291. Now this is a problem we want to look at. We want to solve this problem. Now I understand people are listening, and you talking about big money, getting this problem solved, right? So, but when we go to this book right here, and this it's all dealing with particles now. Quantum talk. We talking about subatomic particles that are governed by certain quantum laws. Now that's general. I know I've read it, but I don't know. Like, I haven't read it now. My heightened sense mathematically is so precise. I shouldn't say that about myself, right? But I don't think no professor gonna say that right now. So I don't know. But so it should be in this book. But what I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is that let's look at the index. I don't even think this book gives you an index. So they don't give you an index. That's not bad. It's just they don't give you an index. So that means we got to read the whole book. But we go to the chapter. So if they don't give you an index, you go to the chapter. But you can see how the chapter is just, again, they ain't giving you no specifics where you can just go to it. And I'm not knowledgeable enough. Well, it's nothing that just stands out where we talk about quantum tunneling, because it might not talk about quantum tunneling. But I know somewhere within here it's going to be talking about quantum mechanics. So it could be fundamentals, it could be collisions, impulses. We don't know where it is. So that's a variable. Quantum tunneling is a variable A. And this book is the number line X. So somewhere within these pages is what we're looking for. And these people, this is India, black people, Samaritans, or the Samaritan, the original people of the planet, God. Within this text, these people got what we're looking for. And all we need to do is study that. Right? So that's A. And once we study and master that, I'm not going to say that's going to give us an answer, but that's going to get us closer, and that's going to get us further away from this with Lucifer. Or with, well, they do say Lucifer is the angel of light. I seen that too, right? You got, okay. So I don't know what that is. I'm trying to define it where I could know what it is. It's right there. It's just not coming to me. What I did see with studying the Israelites, what God showed me was that you have Master Farad Muhammad. You have Master Farad Muhammad, and then you have John Hawkins. Now, Master Farad Muhammad is Caucasian in complexion, or he has a father that's dark black. India, probably straight hair. Well, he has straight hair because Master Farad Muhammad has straight hair. His father's dark black. His mother's Caucasian. John Hawkins' father is Caucasian. His mother's Caucasian. Master Farad Muhammad came to us as light. All the prophecies in the scripture, the hieroglyphics, the Indian hieroglyphics, whatever hieroglyphics you look at, they don't give you God as a color. They give you as light. He light. So you know the black man and black woman, we always be freaking it. We gonna freak it. So remember now, in the book of the New Testament, I think it's in the book of John. In the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. Understand that now. So in the beginning was God. No, in the beginning was the Word. I believe that's correct. It should be in the beginning was God. But I think in the creating of our world, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Correct? So it's scripture. So they're writing that God is light. Then it said the Word came and dwelt among men. Men or man, I want to say the human being. The human being is nowhere up in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Man, the human being is nowhere up in there. But then that's incorrect. I'm going to say mankind. I don't know how I'm going to say that, because I don't want to get it confused. Okay, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. Let's just read the scripture. If we go to, let's ask the computer. What Bible verse is in the beginning? In the beginning was God. In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with God. And the Word was with God. Let's see if we can get it from there. Okay, John, this is Bible. This is the book of John. Let's go to Bible Gateway. Bible Gateway. Let's go to John 1. Okay, if we go to Bible Gateway, this is the book of John. This is verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Okay. Okay. Okay, look at verse 9. That was the true light. Man, that's powerful. Let's just read the whole thing. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's scripture. The same was in the beginning with God. All things, okay, so we don't, okay. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light of men. Okay, I've never read that verse like that. So they didn't change that up. This is, that's the King James Version, right? Okay, he came unto his own, and his own received him not. Okay, I think this entire verse will really let us know what it is. Okay, no, here it is right here. Verse 14. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among men. And we beheld his glory. Okay. So how was I saying it? In the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. Or the Word became flesh and dwelt among the human being. But understand the Word is light. So what the brother did was, or what the brothers and sisters, when they were prophesizing and reading the scripture and making it into flesh, that's when you start getting into the hieroglyphics and the different animal heads or the different animal symbols. And that's how, like how I want to say it. I just seen it too, right? Like it's way, it's called conjecture. That's what it's called. It's called conjecture. God tells us in the Holy Quran that most people follow conjecture. Like you conjecture something, like a good example. I think God, so the Bible says, God made one of the prophets eat animal dung. I can't think of which one it was. It's either Ezekiel or Jeremiah. It might have been Jeremiah. It was one of the prophets. And the brother said that he had never defiled, like he had never eaten no filth before. Right? So it's conjecture. Or like you take some bones, say you got some raggedy people, and from the scripture you looking at them, you know they going to the hellfire. So you take some bones and you just have some bones around where in your environment, and every time you see them bones, that reminds you. So that's conjecture. So Master Farad Muhammad, he came as a Caucasian complexion because he represents light. Compared to John Hawkins, when they came to us in Africa with the Bible, they came to us in Africa with the Bible, that's a pale type of light. Understand that. But that's the Antichrist, or who they call Lucifer. Understand that. You got two, now both of them are light. I don't even know if I should say pale. Both of them are light. But one is Christ and one is the Antichrist. You understand that? Okay. So let me see where we are. That's just a side note. I don't know how I got on that tangent. Right, but let's go. Okay, so look at this, right? So we say Book of John, chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word. This our book. God gave us this book. We can do whatever we want with this book in righteousness. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was God. Word was God. And the Word is God. And this Word became flesh and dwelt amongst the human being. But is this Word that we have right here true? They talking about the scripture. This is the scripture, but first, what did it say? Prove? You gotta prove it? I can't think of the exact verse how the brother be quoting it. But let's look. We talking about one-dimensional. What's one dimension? Just a straight line. Right? We've been beating ourselves in the head. Multiple variables. You're already prepared. X. You talking about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So we already straight. One dimension. What? What are you talking about? We can write it over here. One dimension. X. Ain't got to be the X. I you know, all praise to the Lord. I should learn some, I know a couple, we ain't even on front. Like I do know a couple letters, but not offhand like I know it. One dimension, rectangular. Potential barrier. I seen somewhere, did I see that at? Well, I wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, but okay. Potential barrier. I got something that's going to explain that for us. Damn, what is that called? You know what it's called, brothers and sisters? That's exactly what it's called. It's called a composite function. That's exactly what it's called. A composite function is when you have a function within a function with a variable. So both of these are two functions. You got function f of x. You got function g of x. So what we want to focus on is called composite function. Okay, you have a function. Understand this analysis. This is all very important. It's very basic. But you have to master this in your mind. Don't worry about everybody else around you with what they got. They all got their doctorates. That's okay. That's them. We're going to get our doctorate from God. So is this a variable? It's a variable. You don't know what it is. It could be anything, but it go to infinity without boundaries. Start putting boundaries on it. This x variable is in some type of system that makes it f of x. X plus 1 equals 2. So we say f of x is equal to x plus 1. We equate that to 2. You can also say, this is a little bit, it's easy, but we say, okay, so say we subtract 2 from both sides. So then we say f of x equals x plus 1 minus 2 equals 0. So now we have f of x equals 0. That's a root, what they call a root. That's not complicated, but you have to know what that means. And it's very easy to learn. You just got to learn it. Okay. But a composite function takes a function, g of x, but we want to say g f of x. So all we done really said in going from here to here, can you see? Okay, you can see that. Okay. This f of x is equal to x. See how we just creating assignments? That's all it is, brothers and sisters. Creating assignments. Like, let's look at Nat Turner. That came to my mind when I was saying that. Because Nat Turner, he did not know that he was going to get snitched on. Well, we don't even know that. Because I seen this Black Panther joint, and I just seen how the government be doing their thing. Nat Turner might have just lost. Like he might have just, like you got to look now, it's prophecy. And he might have just thought really that, because we on the coast now, that just happened right up the road. Remember this area I'm in? Michael Vick, Allen Iverson, Alonzo Mourning, Lawrence Taylor. You got like the Brooks. You got the brothers that play basketball. You got your boy Curry right up the street. They've been destroying us as black men since the beginning in this area right here. Like you take this area, like you always talk about New York. Like them stars in the NBA coming from New York, they coming from Chicago, the big cities. How you gonna have, I'ma say, you talking about Iverson, Vic, you talking about Mr. Iverson, you talking about Mr. Vic, you talking about, they got some brothers named Brooks. They were supposed to be superstars. I think they went to UVA. Then I got homeboys I know personally that played in the NBA. Not the NBA, the NFL. But in this small area, this is a town that then grown with a couple of towns. You got Pernell Whitaker from Norfolk. Right? So so you gotta just look at this area. But they've been destroying it. So, but they say Nat Turner was snitched on. I don't really believe that no more. I believe he just, his weapons. And what did I just see? I just seen, what movie was that? No, that's the same documentary, the Black Panthers. They came one time when they were showing the riots. No, that was a IUIC where they were showing how they was just showing how them devils come with the military. You damn near naked in some kind of, I'm not gonna pick on you, cause that's my brother. But you naked in a unisex skirt. You naked in a unisex skirt with some loafers, with a bow and arrow. And this pale-skinned devil got a damn metal helmet on. And you know how to make all of that. You done made it for him. Somewhere else. You done made his metal helmet for him. You done made his, I'm going to tell you what you really need. You need the iron sheaths on your forearms and the metal gloves. You done made all of that for him. You the blacksmith for him somewhere else. And he done use what you done made for him to walk up on you now when you in a damn unisex skirt. Cause you ain't a soldier. I don't mean like you not a soldier. I mean you're a farmer. You doing all of that to shoot animals and insects. You ain't farming with no metal glove. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, that's whole. So look now, that give you a whole separate, cause we don't really know, brothers and sisters. It's an illusion. Okay, so let's stay focused. So Nat Turner, before Nat Turner made it in his mind that he was going to take the Virginia settlement, like he was going to take this area, because they had just had the revolution in Haiti. He didn't know what that X value was. Like he didn't know what that was. Like he knew what A was. A is 1, we getting together. He knew what B was. B is 2, we got weapons. He knew what C was. We're going to persecute these devils. So he knew all of that. But he didn't know what X was. He didn't know what none of that was equal to. Correct? You got to create the assignment. So it's a composite function where you have a function within a function. So say f of x is equal to x squared, and then say g of x is equal to x. If you say g, I think I'm writing this correct. What is this right here? What is this composite function? I think that's correct. Well, let's ask the computer. We done went way long, right? I didn't want to do it like this, but I don't know. Let's just keep it moving. We asked the computer, show composite function. Let's see what it says. Show composite function. A composite function is a function formed by combining two functions. Okay. Hold on 1 second, brothers and sisters. La ilaha illallah. Okay, while that's getting heated up. Okay, yeah, so they do have, okay. I just wanted to make sure. So you just have two functions, and these two functions equal something. So then you can write it like this. This is called a composite function. So you solve f of x first. So we say f of x is equal to what? B. We say b equals 3. So then we say g of x is equal to a. So what is a equal to? We should have said x equal to x. Should have said it like that. We could have. It's all kind of ways you can write it. But just so we understand, that's exactly what it is. It's something within something. Like it's always your mind, like you a genius. You do know what it is. You just don't know what it is, if that makes sense, right? So like again, your ignorance is G. Your ignorance is the whole thing. The G of f of x. Your genius is f of x. You just got to tap into that and find out what that function is. So that's just what we're doing. So let's look now. Let's get back focused. It's called one-dimensional rectangular potential barrier. Potential barrier is good. So I'm still trying to understand what that means. That can be complicated, but it's a potential. You got kinetic. You got potential. Kinetic plus potential is equal to 100 or equal to 1. Either way you want to do it, it's actually equal. I equate it to 100. So you got kinetic energy. This is energy. When I say kinetic and potential, I mean kinetic energy, potential energy. Kinetic energy is moving. So say you have a kinetic energy of 60. That means your potential, what you're going to be doing in the future, is 40. And that 60 plus that 40 is 100. I think they call this normalization. You can normalize it to any number. But why would you want to normalize it to 0.000897345? Why would you normalize it to that? So we normalize it to 100 because with kinetic energy, we're dealing with big numbers. But we probably reduce it to 1. Like when they talk about probability. Probability. That's actually very good what we're going to talk about. Probability is I think it's a chapter in this book. Let me see. Probability. Now it's a chapter in one of these books. When I get further organized, we're going to get it correct. No, it's actually in another book I got that we're going to talk about. So it's just whatever you want to. So, potential. What is the potential? That's another good way to look at the stock market. It's so many things we could do to get this money. I'm talking about trillions of dollars. So, if the movement of the stock, that's the kinetic energy. What it's doing, right? Like this one stock, right? I messed up with, I ain't really mess up, but okay, I had a certain number of shares on this stock. This is called OS One Stream. It's actually good. I played it wrong. Just my ignorance. And then, it's certain things I should have looked at that I didn't look at. But I sold it at $20. It had an earnings report. The earnings report was coming It was coming up that day. And I'm still trying to understand this, but God just showed it to us with this right here. But, okay, say you got some money, like I got, let's look at this stock right here. ALGN. Now these people are good. They deal with dental, your teeth, fixing your teeth. But I lost bad on this stock. This is like a UPS for me. I didn't want to lose no money on this stock. I could have just sold it because I might have had, like, say I had $1,700 on it. That's not a lot of money. But when it dropped, I had it at, I think I had it at, like, say I had it at 190. It was up to 200. The earnings report came that day, so I was up only $10. I had caught it when it had dropped. Again, it's a oversold or undervalued stock. Might be distressed stock that's going to rebound. So I had it at like 190. It dropped, but then it took its time to come. So it was at 200. So on the day of the earnings report, again, it's ALGN. I had it at 190. It was at 200. Then the earnings report came, brothers and sisters. It dropped down to 130. So it's been, but then look now, I got it down to $150 cost averaging. This next earnings report, it shot way up. Shot up to about 152. It didn't clear how I wanted to clear it, so I didn't sell it. But now it's back at one. So inshallah, they making money. It just was one of them time periods. My whole point though is that when it was when I had 1,700 on it, and I was up $10, 17.10. When it dropped to 130, I think I might have won the whole, probably like $400. That means that 1,700, I can't do nothing with that 1,300. I can't flip it. If the stock market crash, within this crash, I can't take that 1,700 and buy stocks to flip that, because the market didn't crash now. You understand? So that's why them earnings reports be hurting sometimes. Yeah, you can dollar cost average over time, but you're going to be missing out on that. If you ain't got no the reserves, you ain't got no bullets, no fire. If you ain't got no bullets, then you know what I'm saying? You're going to be working with your knife or your hands, which is not bad, but that's not putting you in the best of positions. So with OS, it came that point, I was never bad. It's an IPO too, right? It's kind of beautiful. But then things don't be looking right when, that shit about to be on the line. What I didn't look at was the debt, and I didn't look at the stock market. No, what is it? It's called the price to cash per share earnings, the profit. No, the cash to profit earnings, share earnings, something like that. I didn't look at that. But they not in no debt. They got cash. That's why I messed up on. I might have still sold it because I think I had like $1,000 on it. It was at $19. It should have been blown, but again, Mr. Sharia got this stock. So what y'all want to do? So when it came around for the earnings report, right? I sat there and wrestled it, right? Because I could make some money, or I could just I ain't want to go down to $15 and I lose $300. No, I didn't want to do that. But at the same time, so I said no. It'd be worse. It'd be worse. It's bad either way. But I guess like the brother say, like he say, if you ain't gonna hold that stock for 10 years, then don't even mess with it. So I'm learning that. I'm just learning that. Because it'd be worse for it to be 15. But if I was just gonna keep it, it wouldn't matter. But see, then how that positions, because I thought this was a fast car because it's an IPO, and then what it's involved with software. So I thought it was a fast car. Now I'm still gonna be sort of kind of messing with them fast cars now. But so I just gotta realize, what I'm doing. So instead of taking that $3 loss, I just sold it, hypothetically. But it was at $23. I sold it at $20. Some change, positive, negative. So you talking about I missed out on $200? I feel bad, like it hurt me, because that's my technique. I'm still trying to perfect my joint. Look now. Yo. I sold Grail. Grail went up to $94. Again, though, gotta always understand the elephant in the room or the jackass behind the door. Right? The elephant in the room or the jackass behind the door. So again, Mr. Sharia owned this stock. So what y'all want to do? But yo, Tim, TEM, Grail, I sold LB just to get fluid. LB at 68. I sold LB at $60. So I'm trying to, we talk about perfection, but God just showed me something on that too, right? So I'm gonna leave it alone. But them stocks you should look at now. Always understand. I'm gonna tell you, ooh, God let you back in with CG? Yo. It's either CEG or GEV. I can't think. I be getting them confused, right? I think it's CEG. God just let you back in with CEG. Oh, it was a tremendous blessing. So what had happened was, when the Trump tariffs came, and I just meeting no margin calls and selling stock, what I had profit on, I sold these stock. But I kept the half shares, so I might have like 0.6. So I got a whole list of them. AMD, NVIDIA, AVGO, MU. MU made me so much, MU made me, I'm not gonna say so much money, but MU made me about $400, and I only had like 0.67 shares, but that's Sharia investment, because I had 10 shares, I had 30, but I just sold it. But again, they learning how the stock market, what they doing, how they do the stocks. So now it's just because it's long term. You talking about artificial intelligence. You know what they're going to do. And it's going to saturate eventually. There's only so much the computer can do. But this is going to take us to quantum. Quantum going to take us to the holograph. Right? Then you talking about plasma and the fluid of the robot, to where the robot becomes like a human. Then when they start learning how to put the flesh on it and all of that, right? They're going to be doing all of that. Then you got to look at the military, right? But as long as we stay righteous, that's not going to have nothing to do with us. Okay, so how did I get on all that, brothers and sisters? Okay, no, we were talking about potential. So what is the potential? Right? So if the kinetic energy of the stock is at 80, then we know it's only a potential energy of 20. Because kinetic plus potential is what it's doing now compared to what it's going to be doing in the future. That's equal to 100. We normalize it. So if if you're going to put $1,000 on a kinetic energy stock of 80, when you're only going to make 20%, well, not 20%, that's probably going to be more like, because that 20 is what, of 100. If we divide 10 into 2, what's that, 0.5? No, 0.05. I think it's, let's just do it. I think it's 0.05, 0.2, no, 0.2. Okay, it's just one decimal. So that's not right. Divide 100, what we say, 100 into, Fatiha? No, it's 20%. Okay, hold on a second. You got 80, right? I be trying to go so fast, right? When that ain't what, you got 80, you got 20. 80 over 100. 20 over 100 is 20%. Yeah. No, that's not correct with the stocks though, because if you're making 20% on 1,000, but you're talking about like in a day compared to a year, right? That's the whole thing. Because if you're making 20% in a day, that's good. 20% of $1,000 is what? $200. Yeah, that's good. So that's not what we're talking about. What if we say, damn, I don't know how I'm going to say that, right? Okay, so that's not what I'm talking about, but that's what it is. So let's go back to it again. One-dimensional rectangular potential barrier. Quantum mechanical tunneling. Now, when we talk about quantum computers, I think they have a problem with this. So we're going to solve it for ourselves. And we're going to just do our own thing. We're going to get the money for it. There's so much we're going to do, inshallah. So let's look at what it says. Let me give you, because I was already studying this. This is the first problem. I had a real cool ass, well, I don't know if he was cool. He was cool to me and my mindset when I was in graduate school, but he was good. He was a mathematician from a good school. He went to University of Berkeley. So he was legit. He was a straight mathematician. And on some levels they liked me because I wrote my, like you gotta write your objective. And I wrote a straight, at that time I had got into they got something called it's dualism. That's not the technical term for it. But I had read some books in the library talking about electrons. And electrons can be at two places at one time. This is also like quantum computers. Quantum computer, a little bit brief, is with regular computers now. Now understand now, they don't control, like again, let me tell you what's going on. These microchips, that's not them, it's God. They not, what is it called? Like, what is it called? It's called a transistor. A transistor is not like a car engine where you taking each spark plug and you actually doing it. It's called mapping. It's not a one-to-one mapping. Well, it is, but it's God doing it. From how God created everything, the universe, they have found a way to put a boundary on a certain, it's called silicon. This is a generalized. This silicon is made of a certain material. And this material controls atoms a certain way. Like everything is either going this direction or it's going that direction. That's all it is. This is just bits. And what they do is when they send this electricity into a metal object that controls this atom, again now, it's the planet. The planet is spinning a certain, whenever you understand, when you talk about chemicals, and reactions and ions and protons, you gotta take into account, like you talking about nuclear weapons, it's either gonna spin, the electron is spinning to the right or it's spinning to the left. That's a positive 1/2, a negative 1/2. That's all it is. So you have a symmetry of atmosphere that's just moving in one direction, and they trap that off and they call that transistor. What quantum computers do, as far as the theory from quantum mechanics, is that instead of having a bit where a bit is just 1 or 0, quantum computers, it's either 1 or 0. Quantum computers can take 1, can take 0, but they also can read 0 and 1, or however you want to write it, 1 or 0. They can read, listen now, a bit computer just reads 1 or 0. They just take that in. Quantum computer can read 1, 0, but then it can read 0, 1 at the same time, where it can compute. that's confusing, how I said that. It was so clear to me initially, but that's what it is. It can read entire systems at one time, but it's talking about individual systems. That's how it can solve multiple problems. And then when you talk about an exponential, the brother did it real good. Yo, he said that, I forgot who showed that to me. But he said that if you exponential 2 cents in times, like you got 2 cents. Like he give you a time period of a month. If you exponential 2 cents, I forgot the exponential value. I'm gonna show it to you though. Over 30 days, he said after 30 days, it was some crazy number like 300 million. I lie to you not, brothers and sisters. That's how the system is working. Let me spell millions correct. I don't even know how to spell it. It's not millions. So let's do it. So he said 2 cents. No, if you increase it, I think compound interest is what he was talking about, sort of, kind of. So 2 cents, then it's 2 cents. So 2 cents is so. No, if you square it, I think if you square it, maybe. If you square it every day, is what it is. Then you square that. But you're just talking about 2 pennies. So 2 cents. The next day, I'm not doing that. Somehow I'm doing that in wrong. Because I think if you square 2 times 2 is what? 0.2 times 0.2 is what? 4000, 4 zeros. Yeah, I'm not doing that correctly. But somehow he was like, if you just add up 2 pennies, it's 4. And then that's 8. No, he was doubling it. Okay, yeah, that's how he was doing it. But then he was saying with pennies though. He was doing it with pennies. I don't think he was including the decimal. He was just leaving it a natural number or integer. I don't know. But anyway, he was saying somehow that if you just do 2 pennies with compound interest, somehow that Dr. Watkins know what it is. If you just do 10 cents, if you double 2 cents, it might have been 10 cents. But whatever it is, if you just double that every day, to the point where I think when he got into like, well, say you talking about October. He started out October 1st. When he got into October 15th, he was at like $10,000. And once he started doubling 10,000, then it's 20,000. Then that's 40,000. Then that's 80,000. So he was doing it like, it was, by the time he got to David, it really blew my mind. So why did I say that? Okay, so they talking about the quantum computer can solve multiple problems like that. So if you got a quantum computer that can solve equations 2 to the, what's that? To the 1 millionth power, then that's going to be a very powerful computer. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so the first problem my professor gave me when I was doing physical chemistry, I wish I had that journal article too, right? Because that was a good journal. That was like them classics. When you go back to them journal articles on 1950, I had a real good joint that showed it to me. I lost it just in my travels, but I kept it with me when I left graduate school because I knew that's what I was going to do. But what you have is this. You have a barrier, an energy barrier. We can freak this a little bit better because we're more math fluent. But this is an energy barrier. You have a wave or a particle. Now, some of this frequency going to go through this barrier. Some of this frequency going to reflect from the barrier. And that's just all it is. And just calculating the mathematics behind that. We want to be exact, precise. So this is what tunneling is. And at that time, that paper that I was looking at, that was dealing with motion pictures, with cameras, showing how all that worked. So here's the picture again. You see the barrier? One-dimensional potential barrier. So what I don't understand, what we have to learn, we know the way one dimension is. We know what potential is. We know what barrier is. But what do they mean by a potential barrier? A one-dimensional potential? Okay, potential barrier. Okay. So you have kinetic energy. Remember the wave, look now, the wave is traveling. Oh, that's real good. Damn, that's good that I understand that like that, where I could teach it to you. So you have a potential barrier. This is a potential energy barrier. So you got a wave traveling at a certain energy. That's the kinetic energy. So say it's moving at 80 joules. That means that this potential barrier is 20 joules. Right? So we just looking at potential. This is what we're looking at. The diagrammic representation of a rectangular potential barrier is shown as figure 7.6. Extends from x equals 0. Look at the number line, brothers and sisters. I have not lied to you. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness. Look at the number line. Do I need to write it? Yeah, I need to write it, right? Let's look at it. Let's look at it first. X equals 0 to x equals what? X equals A. So let's look at the number line, right? Yeah, they give it to you in the book. Our brother give it to us, but let's look at it. Number line. Look now. You got variables and you got numbers. You got the number scale. You got the multi-variable scale. So God give you your first tool. Your first tool is the number line. We call that axis Hamza. Right? You can call it X. You can call it T. You can call it a tree. You call it fast car. Call it whatever you want to call it. But we're going to call it Hamza. Right? Now, we say that Hamza equals X. They give you two values of X. 0 and A. That's confusing. I didn't confuse it. Let's just keep it back simple. That's the number line. Linear X. Axis, X-axis. They say X equals 0, X equals A. That's an interval. See how they created that interval? From 0 to A. It's closed because they say that X is equal to 0. Right here in the book. You see it in the book, X is equal to 0. X is equal to A. If we would have said X is greater than 0, X is less than A. 0, X is greater than 0, X is less than A, you would have wrote it like this. Same number line. Just different meanings. X is not equal to 0. It's greater than 0. That means it has a lower bound. It still has a lower bound and an upper bound. It's just not equal to the lower bound, upper bound. But it says it's equal. So they give us a variable, X. We don't know what it is. Then they start to tell us, they start to help us. So we think. But then they throw the Ritalin in the game and they say they equal it to another variable. But this is what God is doing to them. They not Judah. They not black people. Or they not righteous. Let me say it like that. No, not one. You are your father, the devil. The potential of the barrier. Okay, that's the structure of the barrier. You see that now? Look now. They give you the number line. X equals 0. Well, that's a capital. Well, that ain't even an X. That's a Ka, Greek letter Ka. Is it a Greek letter Ka? No, that might be a capital X. X equals 0, X equals A. But just look at all the variables. E is less than the potential energy. V, I'm thinking V of O is potential. Yeah, V of O is potential. That's the commercial letter that they use to show the potential. But I'm thinking about volts also. But if you look at it, the potential of the barrier in this region is constant and equal to V of O. The potential of the barrier is equal. Okay. So we already said that though. What did we called it PE? But they call PE VO. Let me make sure. Okay. On the left and right side of the barrier, the potential equals 0. Oh, that's powerful. Understand that now. Look at how they be freaking at that. They be freaking that thing now. And understand these brothers speaking this not their language, brother and sister. So let's look at what they say. They say that inside this barrier is a potential energy. I say they freaked because it just makes so much sense. There is no confusion. So the potential, and we talking about energy, heat. You need that energy. You need that energy to help your people. So the potential energy is equal to some number. We don't know what that number is. But it makes so much sense because if outside of the potential energy is kinetic energy, KE, and kinetic energy plus potential energy is equal to 100, which is just equal to B, some variable. And if kinetic, well, hold on a second. It's not that kinetic energy cannot equal potential energy, but at the time of the kinetic energy, like at the, okay, so let me, how I want to say this. I can say it like this. If kinetic energy is less than X equal to 0 and potential energy is greater than or equal to X equal to 0, then if PE is less than X, then it doesn't exist, which means that's equal to 0. You understand that? Oh, that's powerful. Okay, we're going to try to close it up. Let me just read a little bit more, and then we're going to see what goes on. Okay, so then they give you it's a piecewise function. Let's look at that. They give you the piecewise function. Look at how they give you the intervals. I crossed something out. Let me make sure that's correct. Oh, yeah, I think that is correct. Look at what they said now. They said that sometimes it be typos. You got a function v of x. We call it piecewise. That means that, let me see if I can just go through this right quick. When you got a graph, we talk about continuity. We know what continuity is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is natural numbers, the basic number system. To get from 9 to 10, they introduce 0 because it's just 1 again, right? Understand, these are only the numbers we're working with. And only 0 takes you from a single digit to a double digit, right? To a triple digit to such and such and such and such. Now look, now when we say such and such and such and such, that just means x to the n or x to the n. That's all that means. N, unknown, from 1 digit to 2 digits to 1,000,000 digits to an infinite number of digits. So we say x, we say n plus 1. So continuity is this. That's what continuity is. It sounds like how it is. A piecewise function is continuous. Then it might break off right here And then it might pick up right here. That's what piecewise means. So you got a function that equals something up here. It's not always up and down. It could be whatever, but just in this example, and it's equal to something down here. So let's look at what it says. It says that the function v of x is equal to some parts. So when it's equal to v, it's equal to the potential. Remember the barrier. It's equal to v of o. You got the number line, x. When x equals 0, x equals a. So when, what variable did they use? They use x, okay. So when x is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to a, that's a closed interval, 0 to a. Because they say it's greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Then x, this function, is equal to whatever this potential energy is. That's just kilograms meters squared per second squared. Now, they say that this function v of x is equal to 0 when what? When it's kinetic energy. It's kinetic energy here, it's kinetic energy here. Kinetic energy and potential energy not the same. So if it's kinetic here, that means it's 0 here. There is no potential because it's kinetic. If it's kinetic here, it's 0 here because there's no potential. They're talking about this is a potential energy function. This is the initial value of the potential energies. Is he lying? Is he lying? Well, let's see. The potential of the barrier in this region is constant and equal to VO. So the only thing I say with that is that they say it's constant. I didn't pick on that at first. So throughout the whole time, this is going to be constant. That means its derivative is 0. That means it doesn't have a tangent. So it's going to be no velocity. Oh, there's so many ways I could freak that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. So my whole point, though, is that this potential energy function is only going to be equal to a constant. Do they say it's, how they? Okay, they don't say initial, but I'm assuming this to be initial. Okay, but so the energy, potential energy, is 0 for what? Well, it's going to be 0 for x less than 0 and for x greater than a. Because that's when when x is less than 0, we're talking about what? We're talking about kinetic energy. There is no potential energy. But then the whole confusion is that really there is potential energy. But you're talking about the entirety of this system. See how we can just keep, how brothers and sisters, if we were just focused, how we can really get this thing going, right? But you know, it's in a measure. And when it's greater than A, it's kinetic energy. But they didn't have it like that. It's just probably like a typo. I'm assuming. Now, it still could be some heavy theory. But they got, when it's less than 0, or when it's greater than or equal to 0, that doesn't make sense. Unless they're saying that the potential energy at VO could be 0. That might be what they're saying too, right? That might be what they're saying too. I think that's a little bit too much. It's a lot of masturbation. Now we suppose, look at what they say, a stream of particles of energy. Particles, what's the energy? Let's ask the computer, right? This is one of the, hold on, we might have it in a book. Let's see if they give it to us in a book. All praise to you. Yeah, the black woman bring us into this world, right? Do they give us the units? No, they don't give us a units chapter. Some books will give you Or they might, okay, well, hold on a second. It might be an appendix. We look at the appendix. Now, what we're trying to do is find out how much, okay, they give you the element, the periodic elements. Where they give you the, okay, yeah, they give you, but we're looking for units. Okay, yeah, they're going to give it to us, I believe. If we look at the, okay, so this is some fundamental physical constants. Can you see that? Fundamental physical constants. We're looking for this right here. We're looking for electron charge. They give it in coulombs. We need to know how to make the transition from coulombs to joules. They give the Planck's constant in joule. We're looking for that J. That's not bad though, because that's not something that's difficult. Like, that's real easy. But this is what it is. When they talk about the energy, this is what volts is also. They got volts somewhere. Let's see if we can just find a unit with volts. See how they give you see how mass and density, mass, pressure. They give you energy right here, energy. Let's see what coulombs is. This is what power, electricity. Okay, I don't see coulombs specifically up here somewhere, but it's in the translation of electron volts is what we need. That's what we're looking for, electron volts. So that's ERG, that's energy. Let's see if we can find it over here. Do they have it over here? You see it anywhere, brothers and sisters? You see electron volts over here? No, they just give us the charge. So we got to make the transition from the charge to the electron volts, ERG. So let's just do that. Let's ask the computer. Hold on a second. What is the translation? What is the translation from electron volts? What is the translation from electron volts? No. What is the translation from coulombs to joules? Let's see what they say. I'm just going to start off with that because they give us, they say a bunch of particles, and particles have this charge. The mass, hold on one second, 10 to the negative 19 coulombs. Okay. So let's go back. What page was that? We was talking about, what page was that? We're going to have to remember what that page is. Okay, let me see. Quantum tunneling, 291. 291. Look at how they say a stream of particles. That's just a stream of electrons. Coulombs and joules are units that measure different physical. Okay, so yeah, but what's the relationship? Okay. The joule, okay, yeah, that's good. The kilograms meter squared second squared is equal to the coulombs times the voltage. Voltage is, again, potential. I have yet to really clearly understand that. Okay, so the charge charge times volt, charge times volt is electric volt. Let's see what it says. Okay, the charge. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so now we just want to know what is the, how do you translate electric volts into joules? How do you translate electric volts into joules? This is what we want to see right here. Hold on one second. Okay. So let's go back. They give us this number again. Let's go back to what we was just looking at. That's powerful. I just understand this now. Okay, so they say the electric charge. They say the electric charge is 1.602 times 10 to the negative 19. Okay, so that's energy. No, that's one. Okay, that's okay. Let me get this correct. This is the chattel slavery. So, one electron charge is equal to 1 electron volt. You see that? You see that right there? You see 1 EV right here? 1 EV is equal to 1.602 times 10 to the negative 12. They call this energy, ERG. But then over here, you see this right here? 1 electron charge, again now it's a stream of particles. That's just an electron. Is equal to the computation, they got computational value. The electron charge, no, that's 10 to the negative 12. This is 10 to the negative 19. Okay, that's why analysis is real good. So let's go back to what they say. They say 1 electron volt okay, so we got, okay, so let's get this correct. And I'm going to close it up after this, brothers and sisters. We got electron volt is what I really want to work with. But we got joules is also what I want to work with. Then we got coulombs, also what I want to work with. So we need to be able to make the translation. We need to be able to go from each one of these units with no problem. So I'm going to ask the computer, describe the translation between coulombs, electric volts, and joules. Let's see what the computer says. Computer say Celsius. Yo, they be tripping bad sometimes. And then look, he's still gonna give you a translation. He gonna translate that thing to energy. Oh, I might have to start all over, right? Okay, let's do it like this. Show the translation between coulombs between coulombs, electron volts, and joules. Show the translation between coulombs, electron volts, and joules. The relationship between coulombs, electron volts, and joules can be expressed using the following principles. Joules measure energy. Coulombs measure electric charge. So when we look at this stream of particles, we talking about electron charge. Okay, no. So what I want to do, okay, electron volt, 1 electron volt. Okay, okay. So to convert electron volts to joules, multiply by 1.609 times 10 to the negative 19. Okay. Okay, now I'm completely confused. I'm completely confused. Let me restructure my thoughts. Okay, I asked it too many things at one time. Convert coulombs, convert coulombs to joules. Okay, convert coulombs to joules. To convert coulombs to joules, you need the electric potential, the voltage. Okay, so convert coulombs to joules. Okay. So the formula for joules is coulombs, which is charge, times voltage. So we say, okay, so we got the coulombs. We got to know what the voltage is. Is that what it says? You need the the voltage. Okay, yeah, that's what it says. So this is electric potential. Okay, so we know how to do that. So if you got coulombs, let's do the, okay, I'm gonna do it like this. Show the translation of coulombs to joules with the units. Now this is what we want to see. This is going to be real graphic. This is going to be good, brothers and sisters. This ain't going to be no soft porn. Let me see if they're going to do it now. Let me see. Okay, volts. Volts. Okay, okay, volts is joules per coulomb or energy per charge. That's what we want to look at. Volts, but that's potential. I still ain't understood why they call it potential, but I'm gonna learn that. So look, now they saying joules is equal to charge times joules divided by charge. So that cancels out, they equal. So I need to think about that to actually get it correct. But that's what we got that. So let me ask you to separate. Translate okay, when I say units, I'm gonna say it like that. When I say units, I mean show kilograms meters squared per second squared equals the coulombs times the volts. Let's see if they give it to us. But let's understand. Joules, can you see that? No, you can't even. I do get excited, brothers and sisters. But joules is kilograms meters squared per second squared. Okay. I don't know what coulombs, I think coulombs is just C. It might not be, but it might be. And then they saying volts is kilograms meters squared per second squared divided by C. Coulombs might be a unitary volume. Not a unitary volume. Coulombs might actually be just a singular unit where it might just be coulombs, which would make sense. But no, let's see. Well, it makes sense because that's going to cancel and that's equal to each other. Okay, no, okay, yeah. Coulomb. Now, always understand now, what did we say? We said separation into parts. You got a whole, you got mass. This piece of paper, this paper. So then this paper is made of molecules. The molecules is made of compounds. The compounds is made of atoms. The atoms is made of subatomic particles. The particles are made up of energy. Then the energy is made up of positive and negative numbers. And then you can get into all, so we're going to freak all of that. But that's just so you understand. It's a separation into parts. That's called differentiation. Differentiation. You see how it all comes together? It's a difference. What is a difference, brothers and sisters? A difference is displacement. Remember we learned about displacement? What is displacement? Displacement is a change. You got x1, you got x2. Well, what is the difference between x1 and x2? That's just x2 minus x1, basic subtraction. Which is what? A difference or a displacement, which is what? The pyramids. Which is what? The Kaaba. Which is what? Going back into our history. Well, you talk about God. Right? We're going into the grave. But you got to get right. You got to get right. Okay. So they say coulombs. Coulombs is ampere per second. And what is ampere? What are the units for ampere? And let me show you this right quick. When we go back to J equals coulombs times J over coulombs, understand now that if we separate each one of these, we just talking about the variables. It's still mathematics. Do I got that on camera? I need to get this on camera so you can understand it. We still talking about mathematics. High level mathematics. Multiple variables. Well, we're going to build a spaceship for ourselves. Multiple variables. I'm not saying we're going to go to Mars. If we build a spaceship for ourselves, we're going somewhere where it's going to be some food. That's where we going. I don't know where they're going. Right? They might be going in the opposite direction, which would make a lot of sense. But that's neither here nor there. Multiple variable. Understand, it's separation into parts, or what they call differentiation. Differentiation. A difference. Just subtraction. Or addition, either or. But within this J is what? It's JS M squared, kg, kilograms, meters per second, kilograms, meters second, meters per second. No, I said that all wrong. I'm so confused now because we so high up and I'm so excited. But let's just understand this, right? This right here is in this right here. When you see J, you're supposed to see kilograms, meters squared per second squared. I was getting confused because this right here also means this right here. It's just a confusion. So when you see J, the letter J, you see kilograms, meters squared per second squared. When you see coulombs, you see ampere squared. No, you see amperes times second. And then that's just J over C again. What I want you to understand is that at its most basic level, if X equal to 1 and X equal to 1, and we know 1 equals 1, that means X equals X. So that means that if you can cancel this out, then you can cancel that out. You can cancel. If this equals this, then you can cancel that. It's my whole point. That's not clear because J equals J, but say it like this. Say if Hamza equal, can you see that? Oh, I didn't write it on the board. Let me write it again. Say if Hamza equal kilograms meters squared per second squared. And say if P equal kilograms meters squared per second squared. Because these two equal, if it's kilograms meters squared per second squared equal, I done made that confusion, but let me get it correct so you understand. If 1 over kilogram is on, okay, it's on the camera. If kilogram meters squared per second squared times kilograms meters squared per second squared, if they can cancel, then that means can cancel. But what makes that so profound is that these two are not equal. Like when you just look at it, like I'm not saying that they're not equal, but they are equal because they equal the same thing. I can write it like this. I can write it like this. Hamza is not equal to P. They don't have the same shape or nothing. Hamza equals Hamza. But if you say Hamza equals 1, you say P equals 1. Well, we know that 1 over 1 times 1, the 1's cancel. That's kind of crazy. I mean, it's true, but that's not really giving you that what you want to see. So let's say that Hamza equals 2, P equals 2. Well, we know that 1 over 2, say that is 1 over Hamza, 1 over 2 times P, well, that cancel. But if I give you just face value, well, you're going to say they're not equal. So then you would say they don't cancel. But you have to know the separation into parts, that they are equal. But what I'm trying to tell you, brothers and sisters, is that no one is giving it to you where they say they equal. No, they're giving you this, they're giving you that. 2 variables. You got to pay that money, take them classes, if they teach you. They're not even going to teach you that. God got to show you that. So they give you this variable, they give you this variable. So you say off top, no, they don't cancel because they're not equal. They're not equal. But then you got to do the experiment. Well, what is Hamza actually equal to? Is it equal to how it look, or is it equal to some value? Then what does P equal to? Is it equal to how it look, or is it equal to some value? Well, if Hamza equals 2 and P equals 2, then 1 over Hamza times P is equal to 1 because they cancel, because they're equal. But you got to separate it into parts. The second book of Thessalonians in the New Testament says, let no one deceive you, for that day will not surely come unless there be a falling away first. You have to separate. Which is powerful too, because look now. The book of Revelation said, look. Oh, let's read that verse. Let's read that verse. That didn't open up another can of ass whippings. I am the talk, right? Let's read this verse. No, I got to ask the computer first. Let's ask the internet. Hold on a second. Hold on one second. I love that right there. Let's see if this is true, though. Bible verse. I saw. No, they might. No, I saw Bible verse. I saw a star fall from heaven. Let's see if they can give it to us from that. Okay, Book of Revelations. Okay, thank you, Almighty Allah. Brothers and sisters, this is phenomenal. This is very phenomenal. Revelation 9. Let's read what Revelation 9 says. Book of Revelation. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him hold on, let me get this out of the way. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Okay, now, is the him the angel or the star? That's the tricknology of the Bible. The wicked demons, the synagogue of Satan that translated the Bible said that, again, Brother Malcolm say, is this a tricknology book? So, they ain't going to let us, well, they're making it difficult for us. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key, and to him could be man, or the human being Adam, and to him, because the only him we know throughout the entire book is Adam. Well, let's see if it say angel somewhere along the line. Okay, so no, they talking about the angel. You got to read the entirety of that verse or that book to get that context. But that's just within the scripture of the book. But who was the editor that wrote that to get your thoughts? Because look now, this is my whole point. Second book of Thessalonians say, let no one deceive you unless there be a falling away first, and the man of sin or the human being, the man of sin be revealed. Synagogue of Satan. So you got to separate. So in the star falling from heaven, amongst stars, let's go to this point. Let's go to this verse right here. I think this might be correct. Where it says, let's go to Bible verse. Let's go to Bible verse. Bible verse. Dragon pulled down a third of the stars from heaven. Okay, that's Revelation 12:4. Let's go to Revelation 12:4. Revelation 12:4. Revelation 12:4. Revelation 12:4. Okay, it starts off with, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Okay, so that could be, okay. No, but they say from heaven. Well, that could go in so many ways. Okay, she being with child, there appeared another wonder in heaven, a great red dragon, okay. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. Okay, so in one verse, it says, I saw a star fall. That's beautiful too, right? I saw a star fall from heaven. But right here it says that the dragon pulled down a third of the stars. So let's just understand this and then we're going to close it up. In that verse right here, this is verse 12:9, Book of Revelations, and the dragon used his tail to pull down. It says drew, so that make you confusing, but then it said to earth. Then always understand that the Book of Revelation, the brother said he saw, talking about John, or the brother said Yaqub, and he on the planet. So if the dragon pulled down a third of the stars, he didn't see the dragon pull down the 1/3 of the stars. 1/3 of the stars, he pulled down 4 stars. It just depends on your thinking, how you looking at it. But he poured down 4 stars. The dragon poured down 4 stars, but he only saw 1 star. Right? The other 3 stars fell somewhere else. That's beautiful, because that's prophecy that we don't know nothing about. Because this brother that's prophecy, the book of Revelation, heavy prophecy. And look now, again, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said we only got 1 book. But he talking so dimensional with his knowledge. Okay, but let's stay focused. The brothers say that, now look now, because he's standing on the beach or on the shore. He's standing somewhere where he's looking. So he not where the dragon poured down the 4 stars. But he's seen one of the stars that was poured down from the dragon. He didn't see the other 3 stars. So he only prophesizing, this whole thing is about this 1 star that he saw. But then I was dealing with the death, right? The pit of the death. The angel, that angel, I think it was the 5th angel, had the keys of death, if we could just understand that correctly. Okay, my whole point is, that was very, very beautiful. Oh, that was so phenomenal. But that's just one aspect of it. If that's one way to look at it. The other way is that if we say 2 Thessalonians, and you won't understand until you separate. So you got the 1 star that's separated. And fell to the planet. And if you read that verse, that was just the end of it. He said he seen 1 star fall from heaven. But then it say, and he was given. So who is the he? Is the he the star? Because we know he's talking about people. It's just how the Bible is written. Or is the he the angel? Okay. So, if this star separated from the stars in the universe, then all of this is wicked. And it's this 1 star that fell that you don't hear no more knowledge about now, necessarily. Right? It's just that God telling you, look, this star right here separated and fell to the planet, fell to the earth. It's cherubims on the earth. God tell us, let no one deceive you, for that day will not surely come unless there be a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, the devil, who sits in the seat of Allah, pretending to be Allah. So, this brother seen the star fall. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's God separating this 1 star. You talking about stars now, prophets, messengers, righteous people, that the devil used its tail, its filth, or weaponry to seduce. Right, that's another way to look at it. Oh, that's so profound. Oh, that's very, very powerful. Are you in this 1 star category? Why not be the 1 star that failed, that separated? That's real powerful. A'udhu billahi